Accounts is one of the most important parts of any business, and a lot of people do not take it seriously enough. Don't get me wrong, we all get caught up in the chase for acquisitions. We want more and more new properties, and at the end of the day, if we're not finding properties, then we can't actually create any cash flow from them. But as you start to scale, as you start to get multiple units under your belt, your accountancy process needs to become a priority. Now, a good accountant will also help you along the way. A STR specific accountant is 100% what you need if you are going to be going into the short lets business, because they will have the experience, and there's many different factors that you can engage in to help you reduce your tax liability legally and also make more profit at the end of the day, which you can then reinvest into your cash flow. A few simple things that you really need to know when you are getting into the short-term rental business with regards to your accounts. Number one is your VAT. In most countries, they'll have a value-added tax, and you have to pay that to the government based on your turnover. Depending on how you operate, there are some clever ways to be able to reduce your VAT liability. Now, there are the TOM schemes. You've also got your refurbishment schemes in the UK as well, and they are schemes which you can maybe put into your business. Basically, TOMS means you pay 5% VAT on the threshold as opposed to your 20%, which is a massive saving. But it's not just a simple case of saying, okay, I'm going to do TOMS. What you have to do, you need to set your companies up in the right way so that they are legally following the process of TOMS. If you seek specialist advice from a clever accountant that understands what they are doing and they understand it to the letter of the law, then you can potentially structure yourself in a way that you can then work under the TOMS. Now, yes, you're going to have to pay for that, but the amount of money that you'll save in the long term is huge. The second thing that you need to know when regards to short-term rentals and purchasing properties, and I've done a previous video on this, in the UK we have this wonderful thing called capital allowances, which basically means that we can claim the capital expenses on our buildings when we turn them from a residential property into a business operation. And because short-term rentals is a business operation and it receives trading income, not investment income, then we can gather capital allowances against the buildings, which we can then offset against our operational revenue and ultimately pay less tax. Again, you need a specialist accountant who understands how to process the capital allowance claim within your accounts at the end of the year. You also need a capital allowances specialist to be able to dissect the information, and you will have a capital allowance surveyor who will actually be the one that goes out and gives a value on your property. If you haven't watched the video around capital allowance, jump further back in my channel, find it and watch it, because it gives you a full insight into how you can save tens, if not hundreds of thousands of pounds each and every year if you're buying property to run on short-term rentals. Now, my third point with regards to accountant is you. You need to understand how accounts work. You need to understand how balance sheets work, how profit and loss accounts work, and more importantly, how your business is operating by the numbers. You should be managing your business by the numbers, whether it's KPIs with your staff or whether it's the financial figures coming out of your software. It is vital that you have your finger on the pulse at all times, especially as you scale, because once you start to scale, you start to get a lot of money and a lot of transactions going through your bank account. So only recently did we spot that someone has actually been stealing money from me. They have been topping up their mobile phone down south in London. We got in touch with the company and obviously we found it. Little £20 payments kept coming out over the course of a few weeks. But because we're on our accounts, because we're on the numbers, we spotted it. I would encourage any of you to just take a little mini course in accounting. You don't need to become a fully qualified accountant, but just understanding how the whole accounts process works. So get yourself a good accountant from day number one that understands the game, not just a good accountant, understands short-term rentals. When you're going into acquisition purchasing, get yourself a good capital allowance accountant. The accountancy firm that you choose at the first start should have assessors within their firm that can help. And then more importantly, you are responsible for your accounts. Get on top of your numbers, understand your numbers, and I guarantee it will help your business thrive.